Hi guys, in today's video we're going to talk about the sacred power of divine love. Love is actually a commandment. We read about it in Matthew 22. And Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, as much as you love yourself, right? On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So this is really important that we understand this, because love is it. Okay, it's the umbrella for all of the other commandments and everything else that we do. It's the solution to all things. It's the answer. This is how I see it. So the first part, the first great commandment, is we receive love from God. It's like God has this hose of love for us, and we become this receptor, right? We receive and fill up our souls like this watering can here, right? As you fill up and you're overflowing, you just want to turn around and splash everyone else and share that love with everyone else. So you have an abundance of kindness and love and patience and empathy and understanding. So we're just there for people unconditionally. We don't need people to praise and love and validate us. We just have so much to offer the world. Okay, and that's what I see. You need to receive first, and you need to understand who you are. You need to fill up and appreciate yourself and your abilities to serve the world, humanity, and then you know how to serve and serve properly. Okay, so that's the secret to all things. Let me share with you some more and expound on that. So without God's love, you are empty. It's like that watering can. It's just empty. You're trying to, water with whatever you have in there, and that's all. Okay, you will feel insecure and guilty, like, oh, I'm not doing enough, and you become needy to your family and friends because you need them to validate you, and you're really focused on yourself. And we'll explain that a little later, what I mean. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be selfish. What are you talking about? But we are, and we don't mean to, but we are. Okay. Self-loathing, when you're looking at yourself and you hate yourself, but you're still thinking about yourself, so that's still self-focus, right? You're lacking peace. I hate this about myself, la la la. This is no good according to all these standards. So we have such really low self-esteem. We measure our self-worth with shallow measures, and we become kind of shallow. We compare and compete, and then we rely heavily on other people's opinions. Okay, you feel unsatisfied, unhappy, lacking joy, depressed, and feeling dark even, because you don't have the light with you. When there's an absence of light, you have darkness. That's pretty much it. So when you're feeling this darkness, just know that, hey, you're in this absence of light. So the solution is light. Find more light, right? You get confused and conflicted. It's don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, conflicted because we're serving too many masters. We have so much messiness at home and in our handbags, or financially, messy, relationship messy, just messy, right? Life is just messy because we have that disconnect. We feel overworked, overwhelmed, and over servicing. We serve and give, so that we can receive some drop of love and appreciation from other people. And you're overwhelmed. Your brain can't think anymore. You can't think, what is that person really needing, right? I can't see and think clearly. Okay, it's because we're drained. We're empty, and we're tired because we're empty. We're not connected to the Lord, and we feel unhealthy. We don't take care of ourselves because we don't have the capacity to be able to come up with daily habits and things to help with that, to help our bodies and to help things and plan things, and just can't. There's just so much lack because you're empty. And of course, this emptiness creates dramas and problems in the family and friends, at work and finances and all that. So, all of these problems that people think that they have, they're not the real problem. They're just on the surface, and people try to fix those problems, and they still go round and round in circles because it doesn't get resolved properly. Okay, and how do we resolve it properly and permanently? And the only solution is with God. So with God's love, you are full, you are filled, you have this wonderful self-love, you have self-respect, you have inner peace. You just know yourself. You have true happiness and joy, something that no one can take away from you, even if you lose stuff. But it's this joy that is just yours because you get to choose it and create it. You have clear standards and values relating to, the spiritual, celestial and eternal perspectives. You get it. You know where you're going, what you're doing. So if you don't understand your place in the plan of salvation, if you don't know what to do to get to the planet, to celestial kingdom, then you better find out, map it out. If you don't have the steps, then you better find out, okay? Because if you're a mother, you need to teach your children that. Cleanliness and organization, like godliness is, cleanliness is next to godliness, right? And that's how you are. Your mind is clear, you know where you're going, what you're doing. Physically, your environment starts to clean up as well. All right, so if you want to, you can clean up and then help your mind organize as well. Emotionally, you get your feelings. You have feelings, but then you can sort it out and work it out patiently, calmly. Spiritually, you know the God that you serve. Relationship-wise, you know where you stand, what you're supposed to be for the people around you, because you're Christ-centered and you're inspired to do certain things every day, and you're not doing it because you need love and validation. Okay, you just have so much confidence and inspiration. You act on inspiration daily. Then you're steady and committed and resolved. So when things come by, we come along in the media, or politically, or there's changes in the world, you're not going to be fazed so much by it, because you're really steady, you're really firm, you get it. And that's really powerful, especially if you could teach this to your children. They will be steady and they will not just bend according to the winds that come their way. Okay. Positive, substantial contribution to the world. More than just mum who's a cook, who's a wife or whatever. There's more that you can do with the gifts and power of God that you've been given to serve humanity. You know how you can contribute to the world. You know your piece of the puzzle, and that's powerful, and you can act on that. And if you're not acting on it, then connect to the Lord until you have that power to do so, okay? Because you are important, okay? Your piece of the puzzle is important, okay? It completes us all. So true empathy for others, you really get them for where they are in their situation without imposing some of your needs and your agenda. Okay, that's amazing. That's really hard sometimes when we're so used to, doing it all about you, okay? Making it all about you. And then you are responsive and you're not reactive to people, okay? So when things happen, you respond patiently, take a deep breath in, and, respond in an inspired way. Okay, that's what the love of God can do for us. And that's why it's so powerful. That's why we want to teach our families and, share this message with everybody. We read about this, losing yourself and finding yourself. It's just this paradox. People think that, they need to be this martyr mum. I forget myself, I'm last, and then you actually chip away at who you are because you didn't do it with God. Okay, that's not a good way of losing yourself. Okay, you get caught up in the problems. You make all your kids' problems your problem, and they don't feel safe to talk to you. They don't feel comfortable sharing with you their problems because, you're so reactive. Okay, that's not what this scripture means. This scripture means when you fill up your soul, when you fill up your bucket, when you fill up your pail, watering can, you know who you are. You know who you're supposed to water. You are someone that is valuable, and you don't love and serve to be loved and served back to be validated. Okay, you already know you're a great mom. You already know you're good enough wife, mother, sister, daughter. Okay, you don't need to be validated. So you already know. See, that's what finding yourself is. You just know, because when you feel the love of God, you know who you are, and you can serve and keep serving and serving. And then as people respond to your service, you can adjust, because you know, oh, you know, I'm really, really good at this. I will keep doing this more, because that's how I can contribute to the world. And then you feel important. Okay, because you know you're a piece of the puzzle. You're not because you need other people to validate you and tell you you're important. Okay, you see, then you really truly know yourself. Okay, so that's really important, and I wanted to stress that, because sometimes people are conflicted and like, but we're supposed to like forget about ourselves. We're supposed to be selfless. And I said, yeah, yes, you are selfless, only after you filled up your watering can, your bucket, your heart, your soul with the divine love of God. Okay, that's the sacredness of that power. Okay, so let's have a self-focus test. Okay, so think of this situation, you know, think of this mum. This is very typical. Okay, this child throws a tantrum, you know, crying, rolling on the floor, blah, 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 blah. Then does the mum give in? Oh, okay, son, what do you want? Okay, so that you can have peace and feel comfortable again. Because if you do that, then that's about you, isn't it? Because it seems noble. It seems like, oh, yeah, you want peace, but this is you. You can't stand that discomfort, and you want to be comfortable again. Okay, but if you say, no, I need to stand firm and resolved until this child learns how to behave and be more disciplined and, you know, civil, utilizing their agency. I need this child to learn to apply their agency so that they don't scream and throw a tantrum whenever they want to do something. This is for their sake. You see, it's not for your sake, right? So you can stay in that discomfort a little bit longer, because progression is more important than comfort. You know, this whole plan of salvation, this whole life is about progression, okay? And the comfort will come as you practice the correct principles, okay? So if you chase comfort, right, you're not going to get this progression, and comfort will keep on running away from you, okay? And you keep on having the same problems, okay? So really, in this situation, the choice B is a mother that is, you know, not self-focused. But choice A is a common, typical one that a lot of people have. And me being a school teacher, I see that a lot. You know, they just want to resolve it quickly because they're like, I don't want to have a headache. It's about you. Okay. Instead, we want it to be about them. When our cup is full, then it's easier for us to have empathy and make it about other people. Okay. And not about ourselves. All right. So think about that. Just have a little bit of foresight for your children. Okay, that's celestial thinking. Okay, another example, when you ask your family to clean the house, hey guys, help clean the house. You know, are they doing it to help you feel relaxed and loved because it's your space? And, you know, this shows that they respect you because it's clean, right? Because if you choose A, it's still about you. They don't want the house to be messy because mom would be mad. Okay, that's silly. That's about you. You haven't taught them anything. You're so needy, and it's like really high maintenance, right? They want you to be happy, and you're making them responsible for your happiness. Instead, if you choose B, you know, you teach them that this is a shared space, and you know we want it to be clean because that's how we can feel the Spirit of God. Right? And when we feel the Spirit of God, we have happiness, right? And then you train your kids to be orderly based on the principle that God is clean and orderly. Okay, you know, cleanliness is next to godliness. God has order in what he does. So we want to practice orderliness, and that's why we clean, not because mom can be happy, okay? So you can see how, you know, A is focus on self, B, because our cup is so full, we are serving, and this is for them. We're training them, even though it takes longer to help them, you know, show them how to clean and mop and whatever. If they're doing it, they'll learn how to do it better. It might take you a short amount of time just to do it yourself and just get it over with. But that's not the point. It's not about you. Okay, we make it about us when we are empty. Okay, we make it about others when we are full. Okay, so again, review this. Get this picture in your head and keep it in your head. Okay, we really want to keep receiving and opening our heart and receiving the love of God. And then you got the answers. You got the wisdoms of the universe. Okay, God is love. In 1 John we read, "He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love." Okay, that's a power, that's an energy, that's a light. It's a source of wisdom for us. So think about that. We want to be wise. We want to be empowered. Okay, and to do that, we need to fill up our souls with that divine love. Yeah. Okay, and that's why we need to be like that. We want to be like God and be filled up with love, because we want that power, we want that wisdom, we want to make good choices. Okay, so we can be happy. So explain that to yourself, understand that for yourself, and teach that to your family. I want to teach you about descending, ascending, and transcending. It's so important to know that God loves us first, right? So we love him because he loves us first, because he loved us. So, in our lives, we try and we try and we try really hard, but there's going to be a time that you're going to fall from, wherever you are, all the way down until you rock bottom. And there at the bottom, when you can't go any lower, is Christ. He's there. He's waiting for you. He is your rock. And when you're ready, and when you're stripped away, you can start to ascend with him this time. Every step of the way, you can take inspired actions. And as you do so and rebuild your life, everything is more intentional. You cook for a reason. You clean for a reason. You cook to share the love of God with your family. You clean because your house is, space to host the Spirit of God. You love and you serve because you know your piece of the puzzle. You don't need to do it to appear like you're righteous. You don't need to do it to be praised by people. You see? So as you ascend with Christ, you'll keep ascending to the point where you transcend, so that when you go to work, and if you do go to work, if your friends are whinging about the government, about politics, about whatever it is that's happening in the world, it doesn't faze you, because you feel firm. Your feet are anchored and steady in the love of God. You see people for their potential and who they are, and you're not fazed by whatever is happening in the world, by this pandemic and that, whatever downfall. You're not fazed. You've transcended the world. You get it. You know the Lord's coming, and that is so powerful. And this is why the love of God, when you attach yourself to that love of God, you're brilliant. You're powerful. Okay? We need to receive love, guys. That's our choice, our power. We need to open up our heart to receive. The Lord is always pouring out. Your bucket, your cup, your watering can needs to be under the faucet, under where he's pouring out. Okay? So that you can receive. Open up your heart to receive. Because love is the greatest, this most powerful vibration. In 1 Corinthians 13:13, and now abideth faith, hope, charity. These three, but the greatest of these is charity. Okay, yes, you can have faith, hope, and charity, and hope, but charity is the love of God. That's the most powerful, highest vibration. To me, when I learned that rose oil is the oil of divine love, God's love, and that rose is the most powerful oil against viruses. It just makes so much sense to me. It just made like so many connections. So, for example, if the viruses are a reflection of darkness, rose is like light. And when light comes in, it dispels darkness, all right? Because darkness is an absence of light, right? So I didn't like, that just makes so much sense to me. When there's the love of God, there's no more dramas and traumas and darkness and negativity and depression. It's so powerful. So on the physical level, I can see how amazing that rose oil is. It's just cleansing and healing. It helps your body heal. But on the emotional side, when you think your problems are so complicated, so bad, so deep, so ugly and hairy, and suddenly when the love of God comes into your soul, all of that doesn't matter anymore. It's resolved. It's that quick and it's so powerful. And the answers are here in the scriptures for us. So, my friends, please connect to God. You know that you've connected to Him well when you feel peace, power, and purpose. Stay there in prayer until you move beyond that peace. You can't operate on just fuzzy-wuzzy feelings, warmth, in your soul. You need more than that. You need more power. You need to hear God better so that you can get details. If you don't feel peace, power, and purpose, then it's time for you to pray and stay in prayer and be still. Teach your family stillness. Teach your children stillness. Okay, you can switch off things. Live in stillness so that they recognize what stillness is. Don't continue to perpetuate that busyness, that noise. Okay, when you fill yourself up with power, you feel purpose. You just know exactly where you're going with this, how you can hone that energy. And I like, these alliterations to help my children understand. So I tell them that you need to move that information that you got from your head all the way to your heart, where you have understanding. So it's not just knowledge, now it's understanding. And when you understand really well, then your hands will take action. Your body will move forward. So move from the head to the heart to the hands. Okay? So once you are done praying and you feel that peace and that power and that purpose, right? And that all of that is filling your soul, you'll naturally be taking action. Okay? Because those feelings will drive action. Okay, so when we make excuses for ourselves and, we hide, that's not, being filled with peace, power, and purpose. Okay, so continue in prayer. Teach your children to pray as well. Okay, once you get there, you will be a mighty instrument in the Lord's hands. So when your cup is full, because you naturally remember to take care of yourself. You exercise, you eat right, you sleep better, properly, just things work. You are reminded by the Spirit. You're energized and inspired and motivated. It's not easy to hurt you or offend you. Okay, others can say whatever they want to say, but you're good, you're not fazed. Okay, and you're happy and you answer only to God. You don't need to worry about everyone else's opinions anymore, because it doesn't matter. Their opinions don't matter. You have 10 people, you have 21 and ideas and opinions, right? People are humans. Okay, their opinions don't count. When you choose who you want to be, what you want to do, okay, the world adjusts. They will just adjust to you. Okay? Let them adjust. Give them some time to adjust. And they have full permission not to like you, full permission to hate you even. It's okay, because it's not between you and them. It's between you and God at the end of the day. Okay? Now, I want you to realize that you have agency. You have the power to choose, to change and create. Agency is not about choosing only, all right? So if you could choose powerfully, right, what would you choose? I recommend that you write these things down so that you can articulate what you want, okay, who you want to serve, what are you going to change about your life, how you want to live your life, what are your standards and values. Please write it down so that you're clear in your mind. These are my standards, these are my values. You know, with my children, when we talk about standards and values, they are clear. They know. So, you know, if your child is a teenager, 20-year-olds, they're dating, you know, they know who they're looking for because they know themselves. Okay, that is such a powerful gift that you can give to your children. Beyond a car, beyond anything material, you can give them that confidence, okay, that understanding, that clear identity. Because when you connect to God, right, and you are filled to overflowing, you know who you are. You know that you're a child of God. You know why you were born, where you're going, and you know what you're supposed to be doing here on earth. Okay, and nobody, their opinion, nobody has a say, because it's just God that you know helps you determine what you want to do, where you want to go. Okay, amazing. And as a mum, I don't need to know everything. I can send my kids to the Lord and say, hey, why don't you work this out with the Lord? I'll pray too, and I'll see what I can do to help. If I need to help, He will tell me. But yeah, God will know best, because when they are in prayer, they get details, because they're not going to operate just on fuzzy wuzzies. All right. They're good. You know, He's the best parenting partner. So please connect to Heavenly Father. Please fill up your cup. Okay. And when you do, you will understand the power of the atonement of Jesus Christ. But I'm going to end here anyways, to challenge you all about the atonement of Jesus Christ. Study it, please. Understand the compensating power, the renewing, the cleansing power of the atonement of Christ. I'm still learning and studying this myself, but it can be applied to every aspect of your life. It's so powerful. Whatever it is that you're challenged with right now, the atonement can help with that. It gives you the power to change. It gives you the power to heal, to forgive, to start over again. And whatever is lost and whatever you suffered, He will compensate that. He'll fix it. You won't lose a hair on your head. And that's so powerful. And you will only get the testimony when you connect to the Lord and really feel His presence. And remember, when you feel His power, stay there until you feel the purpose, direction. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment below, tell me what you think, and please connect to me and tell me if you have any questions or just testimonies and you know, your thoughts. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.